The actors and writers have striked together in Hollywood for the first time in more than a half century. And it's about what every union strike is about. It's about leverage. It's never just about the pay for the union member. Now, some of you, that's going to hurt your feelings, and I'm sorry. I want to provoke you to think. You don't have to agree with me, but just think on your own. And if you disagree with me, fine. But unions are about politics and power, not pay. Now, the way unions started, if you know the history, and some of you don't, I do. So if you want to argue with me, you at least owe yourself the dignity of researching what I'm saying. But I promise you, I know more about it than most of you. You know why? Because I read. That's why. Now, when unions started in the United States, there was a good cause for it. The Industrial Revolution is happening, and then we get into what is now the birth of modern work. And so it was very slanted towards the owners. And so there was a good conversation about what is right. Notice now this word's going to come up a little bit later. It's not what is fair, because I think fair is the wrong word. Now, I really hacked some snowflakes off that are watching this. I'll explain myself in a minute. But again, do you have the maturity to think about what I'm saying? All right, we'll see. So unions started out good. Very healthy discussion about pay and what is right, not what is fair. Very big difference. Okay. Now, what happened is, over time, politics got involved. And can I just tell you, I don't care what nation, what culture, when politics gets involved, guess what happens? It goes to crap. It's poison. Politics, while necessary in the form of government, politics is poison, and it poisoned the unions. And so now it's about power. It's not about pay. They'll tell you it's about fair pay. Hear me say it's about power. Now, some of you just need to go do your homework on that. So here's where we are. What's happening in Hollywood is already been happening across America. We're seeing young people who don't even hardly know how to spell the word union, much less know what it's about, trying to unionize at Starbucks. Howard Schultz came back in. He's tried to squash it. We see in the data, in the polls, that more and more Americans have now a positive view of unions. I think it's dangerous, folks. I think it leads to socialism. And if you like socialism, fantastic for you. I am a guy who believes in freedom. You vote however you want to vote, believe how you want to believe, but you might as well go live in Venezuela and then come back to me after 90 days in Venezuela and tell me how that worked out. Equal pay, fair pay, all that. And I get killed, by the way, on Instagram when we post this, but post away. Because what you don't understand is you get your emotions wrapped up in it. I think you should be paid the max that you can get paid. But I don't think it needs to be decided by political processes. I think it should be decided based on you killing it and crushing it. I am a fan of meritocracy. Look that word up. Meritocracy, meritocracy, meritocracy. I'm a fan of it. Now, if you are a fan of meritocracy, and I am, you must also deal with feelings that are wrapped around the fact that there's always somebody involved at the top who says, you know what? I think this person does a better job than Ken, and so I'm going to pay them more than Ken. And that's not fair. You're right. It's not about fairness. It's about the eye of the beholder and merit. And so if I don't like it, I can leave. And I'm going to go somewhere where they value me and see me. But this idea of protesting in the workplace is got to stop. It's nonsensical. And if we don't stop it, let me just tell you something. You will see the seeds of socialism rise, and socialism, make no mistake about it, is built on economics, a fairness doctrine, and it leads to total power. It's a lie. It sucks people in. Just look it up. It starts out with fairness, fairness, fairness. So here's what's happening. This is Robert Reich, former U.S. Secretary of Labor for Bill Clinton. Robert and I don't see eye to eye on anything. But this is what he says, quoted in this Hollywood Reporter article. Is this fair? He's talking about that the CEOs of these large movie production houses are making crazy money. Is this fair? He says fairness is in the eye of the beholder. Obviously, that's the one time I've ever agreed with Robert Reich. But it doesn't feel it, and it does rub a lot of people the wrong way. It seems like the game is rigged against the average working people and in favor of the people at the top. You have a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and ultimately have work stoppages and strikes. The median salary for CEOs at S&P 500 companies is about $15 million. Now, you look at the movie studios, and $15 million is a joke. Andy Jassy, the CEO of Amazon, okay, $1.3 million. Okay? The median employee compensation at Amazon is $34,000. Now, Apple, Tim Cook's CEO compensation is $99.4 million. Comcast CEO, $32.1 million. Disney, $24.2. Those numbers are old. That's Bob Chapek's number. Netflix, $51 million. Paramount Global, $32.1 million. Warner Brothers, Discovery, David Zaslav, $39.3 million. Now, here's what happens. So people start to look at this and they go, wait a second, the guys at the top are making this. But you do realize these public companies have shareholders, and they have this thing called say-on-pay votes. This was established in 2011 by the SEC to give the stockholder the ability to speak into this stuff. And if you look down the list, very rarely do you see stockholders vote against the pay. Why? Because if they're getting a nice stock return, they go, I like the guy at the top. Comcast overwhelmingly voted in June for their compensation package for their CEO. And so here's what's happening. Across the country, more and more, we are seeing a divide where we say it's not fair. It's not fair that the people running these very profitable companies are making so much money. Now, I will tell you, if a CEO of a large company could take a $20 million pay cut, ask executives to do so in times that are tough, I think that's admirable. I think it should be done more. But the reality is capitalism works. And the minute you turn capitalism into faux socialism, you're going to see the end of our economy, slowly but surely.